All right. Shout out to George. Good morning to you too, buddy. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. Welcome back for another episode of What's in Your Portfolio with Simply Investing. My name's Sal. We got Cody here. We'll be on in just a moment, going over lots of great topics. So hope you guys can bear with us on this one. This one might be a long stream. But as you guys know, Cody and I talk all things crypto, stocks, markets, anything kind of going on in the finance world. My name is Sal. I also invest in crypto, stocks. I have 4 businesses that I have ownership in. 3 of them I have full ownership in. I also own real estate, and I am an accredited investor and invest in, of course, all things accredited there for it. So
Shout out to Crypto Dream. Shout out to DYOFR.
you,
Shout out to y'all for your watching.
yeah, and shout out to all our longtime supporters, especially at DYOFR. Glad to have you back in here in Crypto Dream. Definitely one of our great longtime supporters. Go check out his channel. It's Simply Dream, Crypto Dream on YouTube and TikTok. Help grow his channel too. We're all in this together, and the more heads that come together, the better investing will be. So I hope you guys are having a great morning. We're going to go over some of our wins and losses over this. I definitely, it would be hard not to win in this scenario, but we got crypto. We have the greed and fear index at 77. We're almost in the 80s, almost in that green euphoria range. It definitely feels like we're in a strong relief rally. We have Bitcoin dominance at 51.1%, Ethereum dominance at 17.4%. We also have market cap at 1.42 trillion with a trading volume of 51.8 billion. We also have, of course, the main staples. We got a Bitcoin up about 0.25% on the day. Ethereum's down about 0.75%. We got XRP down about 1.5%. Sol down about 4.5%. Kind of spiked up to that $60 range, and I guess having a tough time trying to break the $60 range. Keep hitting that resistance level and coming back down. We got Chainlink down 2%, but it's up 34% on the 7 days. We got Matic up almost 2%. We have Litecoin up 0.5%. We have Stellar down about 0.75%. We got Cosmos up 1.9%. We got Hedera down 2%. And we have Quant down almost 3%. Quant's starting to look like another good dollar cost averaging segment, as it's, as always, the last mover on there. And of course, we have VeChain down 1.5% there, but up. Everything's pretty much up on the long haul. What we're seeing here is just people cashing out profits and kind of, just cashing out their profits that they have made over this run, which is something I highly recommend. And of course, for you guys knowing what's in my portfolio, I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, DOT, Quant, AdShare, Link, Litecoin, and now HBAR and Sol. If you are a part of the Patreon and been joining us on the Discord, you would have known when I would have bought into those, which was about a week ago. I've been dollar cost averaging in, although HBAR has not had any significant run up. So it's still something I can just keep dollar cost averaging in, as I am a firm believer those coins can have a great rebound, but they're only 1% of my total portfolio. As you know, most of my portfolio rests in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, DOT, Quant, and Link. And everything else is kind of a side bet that I have in there. And of course, going into the stock market, we are up there as well, especially in the tech sector. Those are riding pretty hard. But as my stocks, I have Bank of America, NLY, Walmart, Coinbase, HCA, Healthcare Association, BlackRock, AT&T Mobility, Apple, Microsoft, Porch Moving Group, and ORC. So, and
Damn, Crypto.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, buddy.
Crypto Dream just got in here. I shouted him out at the beginning, but I guess he just got in here. Shout out to him. My bad.
Glad to have you guys. Glad to have everyone in here. We're going to get through some topics. Cody's got a lot of great topics we're going to go over. Hopefully, if you guys can keep supporting and following us, TikTok will allow us to use the to give us the link for the streaming platform so we can merge it all together for you guys, which would be amazing. But until then, we kind of got to do it this way and help out Cody. It's codyharris.eth. You can go to his TikTok, help him get to 1,000 subscribers so he can join us too on live on TikTok as well. Join.
Yes, I need 1,000 followers.
So let's help everybody grow. Hope you guys have a great day. And as always, you know, I'm this is not financial advice, but at this I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but I was a licensed stockbroker, different types of people. Even though we have a lot of parallels, broker just buy and sells whatever you're doing. We don't really care whether you make money or lose money because at the end of the day, we always make money. So that's how a broker's mentality is. So just keep that in mind. But glad to have you guys in here. Like and subscribe, share the stream, help us keep growing, and we hope to reach more and more people. So let's get on with this today because a lot of crazy questions. And keep in mind, guys, if you're on the TikTok side, if I miss your comment, I do apologize. Our moderators are still coming in on that side, but feel free drop your comments. I'll try to shout them out when I see them. But we do thank you for all your support there. And shout out to Control Your Own. Good morning to you too. Hope you're having a wonderful day chasing that bag. All right. So Cody, you've been sending a lot of info on our Discord, so I'll let you kind of hit it off there.
Yeah, pretty much. I sent a video to the Discord. If you're in the Discord, shout out to you. But sent a video to the Discord about what's going on overall in our economy. And pretty much, it just seems like the super wealthy, they're just getting really bold on what they're
Mhm.
saying. You had, I forgot their names, but they were pretty much on stage on live TV talking about, I'm bullish on Ukraine and post war. And they're talking about the economic expansion post war and stuff. And pretty much just the wealth. They're just using taxpayer money to just send aid to other countries
Mhm.
instead of aiding our country. And it's our money, and that's the thing. That's why I pay attention to what's going on, but at the same time, like I don't pay attention to the political side. But there's just a lot of BS going on.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things you have to really pay attention to because the there's always going to be conflicts. There's always going to be crazy things that happen. There's always going to be some weird event that just kind of pops up out of nowhere. That's just how, a global economy works. 100 years ago, it wouldn't have affected other countries too much, but now that since everything's so integrated with worldwide trading, markets, everything's integrated, stuff like this has a long-term effect on everybody. But for the US, usually war is how we kind of have good economies. Every time we had a good economy, kind of comes right after or during a big war or a war that we're involved in. So just keep that in mind. That's just how the US rolls. That's how we roll, I guess. That's been true since basically the Industrial Revolution.
Yep. I don't know if you guys know of this YouTuber. It's kind of off topic, but I want to talk about it just because I watched this last night. It's a documentary on this YouTuber called Boogie2998. He's actually local. He lives in me and Sal state. We all live in Northwest Arkansas. And if you guys haven't already, when you have time, look up the documentary of the demise and fall of Boogie 2998. It actually gave me a lot of motivation. I mean, this guy was making $500,000 a year at one point from YouTube, and he spent $200,000 in 2 years on sex workers. And anyway, the point of me bringing this up is like, you watch that documentary, you watch people who have money and success fall off. It really just makes you not want to do that. Like watching that video, it's almost like I was watching a horror film. Like it lit a fire under my ass. Like I want to do good with my finances, my body, my health, all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I got a lot to say about that video too. Shout out to Hot Dog. This is different. It's a holy war. Well, to the two parties, it's a holy war, but Lucent Technologies and a lot of other defense contractors are kind of selling to both sides. So It's like whenever the industrial complex is going, we tend to make money. But yeah, going back to the boozy one, uh,
Boogie.
Boogie. I don't know why I said boozy, but Boogie. Yeah, it's prime example of how your self image can either affect positively or negatively the outcome of having a lot of money. But shout out to Crypto Dream. It's all good. I started from the beginning, 2x2 live. Exactly. Definitely glad to have you in here. But what I wanted to say is that money only exaggerates the traits that you already have. It doesn't make you a different person. Reason why we think it makes you a different person is because because those traits get so exaggerated that it looks like they're a different person, but they're not. So he already felt lonely, and I get that. Like I was in that gaming Magic the Gathering environment when I was a kid, and when I was in high school and college, because I was in an upper class all white neighborhood. There's very few black people and let alone mixed people there, so you kind of fall into those little areas, and you kind of get wrapped up in there, but you don't want to get wrapped up into your self-loathing part. You want to say, look, a lot of this stuff in my life is my fault. If I make certain changes, I can keep going better, keep making my life better. And I try to tell that even for a lot of guys that work with me, your decisions that you make in your 20s will affect you at 40, 45, and 50.
Well, the thing about Boogie is he's not only very it's amazing how he's so pessimistic, yet he's so entitled. Like he was saying in his video, he doesn't want to fuck Arkansas eights, he wants to fuck LA tens. And he said he's going through his income is $5,700 a month, and his expenses are 8,000 a month. So you're already down the whole like almost $3,000. Not only that, he was saying in the video while they were discussing like what he has to cut back on. He says the new Final Fantasy, I gotta have that. Diablo 4, I gotta have that. Like arcade machines, I gotta have that. So it's like he represents a lot of people in our country. You know, they're going through financial
Mhm,
issues, but it's not really the money, it's his lifestyle that he feels he's entitled to. Like he has a $250,000 house, he has $160,000 on his mortgage left, and he can't even pay that. And he's relying on YouTube, and he can't get a job because he has a felony. Because for all you, if you don't know, about 2 years ago, somebody showed up on his doorstep and he pulled a gun out and he was shooting his gun in the air, and it was near a school zone. So he got a felony for that. So now he's
mhm.
a felon. He can't get a job really, and he mentioned porn to the interviewer, and it's just he has a fucked up ego along with terrible finance control. And when you have
Yeah.
both a
Yep.
poor self image, a bad ego, and terrible control with your finances, you're going to fall off guaranteed.
Absolutely. Let me catch up on some of these comments here, Cody. Uh, Shout out to Hot Dog. I agree. War is good for the economy. Yep, it's always unfortunately it is. Shout out to Sage. How do I buy crypto? Well, I would say the exchanges, but the only two I really trust are Uphold and Coinbase. I mean, there's a few others out there, but I
Kraken's
only
a good
trust
one.
the two. Kraken's also a good one too. They're just coming to market, but those are the main ones I use. Shout out to Live Life. Welcome in. Glad to have you in here. Hope you're having a great day. And shout out to Leak Hub. What's he talking about? I just got in here. Well, we're glad to have you in here, and thanks for the support. We're talking about uh, Boogie and how his mindset can affect your financial growth. Um, shout out to Leak Hub too. Mex is good too. I'm not sure if you're referring to state or see, but I think we're all caught up there. But yeah, it's about it's like taking the victim mentality, but also feeling entitled that you have the things like I'm a big guy. I have no one to fault for about my size but myself. I have no one's fault but for it to go. Oh, shout out to Lee Cup Mech C is a crypto exchange. Oh, I never heard of it, but I'll check it out maybe later today and kind of see if I can make a review on it for you guys. Um, Well, Lee Cub, if you haven't seen any of our other lives or anything, we always say the best businesses are ones that charge for what they're worth. So like I use Uphold, it has a lot of fees, but they don't have any of the problems that everyone else has. So, and I don't trust anything where it's always low fees or no fees or anything, because how you run a business if you're not making enough money to pay your bills and make a profit. But that's just my standpoint on that. There, but anyway, back to Boogie. He just doesn't want to admit, but even still, I mean, 5,700 just off of YouTube. If he went and got any job, he'd be making back to six figures. Because it was 5,700. I don't think that's going to be six figures, but it's definitely going to be like
My problem is a lot of people have
7,000.
an issue with a nine to
Yeah.
five, and a lot of people don't want jobs. A lot of people just, and here's the thing: it's like making money off YouTube is great, and making a career off YouTube is great. But what happens when you fall off? Because it's inevitable that people fall off. It just happens, It's inevitable unless you genuinely stay on top of things like Mr. Beast and stuff like that. It's like you're most likely gonna fall off. So why not work and why rely on YouTube and stuff like that? Like
Well,
people have delusional mindsets.
here's the thing, Cody, and here's the thing for all of you guys is that it's and this happens in any and it happens with NFL players, NBA players, people who work on Wall Street, anywhere people can make money. The thing is that when people start making money for a certain amount of time, they change over, like their personality changes over. And for Boogie, he sought money because it would change his life. That's how he viewed it. It would change his life in such a dramatic way. He really thought like, hey, if I just get money, my life would be on easy street. And when he got money, the first thing he did was like he paid for sexual access. And that is the number one. That's where it just starts going downhill. Because when you start paying for that, then all of a sudden the drugs kick in, everything else kicks in, and then before you know it, you're outspending your earnings.
One lady even said him hiring her for sex work is the reason why she quit because she couldn't find his dick. Like she was saying like she quit sex work after that. And imagine hearing that a girl you pay a hooker and she quits sex work because she fucked you.
That would be terrible. That would be terrible.
That's
Now
what she said in the video.
I didn't watch the full video. I only watched the beginning where they were kind of going over his mortgage and everything. But his life is like for $5,700. You have your taxes that you got to set aside because YouTube does not take out for your taxes. They just pay you and it just goes into your account. So he's not even filing his taxes properly, which is another big disaster that's about to hit. He is literally headed for the streets. And instead of just saying, hey, look, I'm a fat ass, I need to go to work. Because like I was as big as Boogie. I was as big. I was, or if not, I was probably bigger. The reason the reason why you don't want to start losing that weight, I get it. It's hard. I had the pains. I had the diabetic pains in my feet. I couldn't walk up steps. I couldn't do a lot of stuff. But instead of just sitting here saying, "Oh, well, woe was me," I should go file for disability. I didn't file for any of that shit. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go start a moving company because one, I'm gonna lose this fucking weight. Two, instead of trying to drive around, I'm gonna walk the canvas. I went from 550-ish pounds to like low 400s very quickly within like 9 months. And then I went from that to like 250 down. And then I just been hovering between 250 and 290 as I've been really trying to get my weight down. But I can't sit here and say, oh, it's that person's fault.
I
It's
do
that
want to mention something that DYOFR, he's talking about MEXC. I've done
Mhm.
research on MEXC and DYOFR. It's just like another hex project. Like to me, it looks very fishy. I don't like MEXC. I don't like it.
Yeah, I haven't looked into Mexi either, but I'll have to do. I wanted to start doing videos on exchanges for you guys and posting them to YouTube for you, so we can kind of go out there. Oh, shout out to Steve.eth. Welcome in. Definitely glad to have you in here. But the main point of it is that his mindset was towards his money, and he used the money to gain access to things he wanted in life. And it's like I know we got a decent amount of ladies in here, and I'll try to shed this light because a lot of them probably were like, "What the hell? Why would you spend $200,000? It's a real creepy thing to do to spend on
Intercourse.
prostitutes on escorts and stuff like that." But here's the thing: I know exactly what segment of people he comes from because I used to be a part of that when I was in high school and college. It's very depressing. You think everything's against you. You kind of in this self-loathing until you kind of roll out of it and you realize, "Oh, well, wait, no, I can fix the problems. I can start doing this. I can start doing that." And stop eating like shit because I on that thing, all he did was eat fast food
He was
morning.
eating Taco Bell and quesadillas and drinking pop. He woke up and he had a pop on his nightstand. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's like all the money did was exaggerate his spending, and it seemed like his ex-wife was the only person kind of reining in the finances, which is probably how he got the mortgage.
He
But
has a 20-year-old girlfriend now. He's 47. He's almost 50, and
yeah,
his girlfriend's 20.
yeah, he's only 7 years older than me. Um, but it's like he just did it's like when you make that much money, like 587 or I think it was 87,000 a year just off of making videos and people supporting your
He
channel.
should have been rich.
Like he should have been sick. Could you
Oh, I
imagine
do
if
want to
he
talk
just did
about
investing
this.
that? Oh, go ahead, Cody.
On string, he did say that he put a lot of money. He put like 700,000 in crypto, and he lost all of it all. Not on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but this man was putting in 700,000, large amounts of money on micro caps. And this is why I tell people, do not chase micro caps. Like, just don't. It's a degen game to play.
Yes, it's hard to pick the winners. It's definitely hard to pick the winners, but you definitely don't want to go too deep into those micro caps. It's kind of like penny stocks. Not too much in there. Um
I did not. Hey,
yeah,
NG Dubs. I didn't compare Mexi to Hex. I'm just saying I don't like it. I don't. Okay. I don't like
oh,
Mexi.
well, let me get this over here real quick. Okay. Um, let me just catch up with some of the comments here. So shout out to Steve.eth again. What's up to you too, buddy? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Yeah, when you get more money, it amplifies the type of person you are. Exactly. It just amplifies
And
exactly all.
that's what happened to Richard Hart. Richard Hart reminds me of Boogie 2998 a lot.
Shout out to Crypto Caddy. You talking about Ben Arm? I don't know. Is that Boogie's actual name, or
No,
you're
no,
talking about
that's not Ben
the
Armstrong.
YouTuber
He
Boog
thinks we're talking about
Oh,
Big Boy Crypto. We're talking about Boogie
oh,
2988.
gotcha. Well, Big Boy Crypto is kind of the same thing. Like he ran into the same scenario where he got a lot of money, and instead of investing and diversifying and growing, it was, I got this money, it's going to last forever, and then I'm going. And everyone's mindset. It even happened to my competitors. They got all this money and they said, "Oh my God, this is going to last forever. It's a forever bull run." For some reason, our human psyche says when things are going great, it's going to be forever, and that's not the case. We are going to have a drop. What goes up must always come down, and the markets follow the same rules of physics. When it starts going up, it's going to inevitably start going down. We don't know when, but it will eventually go down. And unfortunately, same thing with YouTube channels. We've been watching the same guys come up, disappear, come up, disappear. It seems about they range between 5 and 10 years. They go up and they go down, and part of it is they go up and they realize, oh hey, I deserve this, instead of saying, hey, I'm doing this because I really want to just talk or chat, or it's a hobby and I'm getting paid for it. I'm really grateful I'm getting paid off of it. Instead, they use the YouTube channel to facilitate their life, and then when it starts kiltering, which is what happened in the last year because the ad revenue went down, advertisers dropped, a lot of crazy things happened where YouTube isn't making as much money as before, and boom, now these creators that were relying on all this money coming in are all of a sudden it's not there. And now they have to adapt their lifestyles because it is solely based off of this. There are a few smart YouTubers out there that have made their money, put it away, and invested it while keep doing their channel. So when it starts going south, they're fine. So there's a few of them out there. Shout out to Crypto Caddy. Oh, okay, I just got on. They're both the same. No worries, but glad to have you in here, Crypto Caddy, one of our great longtime supporters. Shout out to Edwin. Hi there to you, buddy, too. Welcome in. Hope you're having a great day chasing those bags. I hope everyone's having a great day and chasing the bags, building wealth and building their portfolios and setting their financial game plans. And hopefully, I don't wish Boogie's life on anybody. Shout out to Cali Cali Crypto. Welcome in. Good morning to you too, buddy. Glad to have you in here. Uh, it's it. I don't wish that life on anybody. That's a terrible life, and unfortunately, his body is not even going to make it. I'd be surprised if he even makes it into his 50s. Shout out to Stop Loss. Now I'm going down the rabbit hole of Boogie. Yeah, is it is crazy. I saw this happen. I saw some videos of it like a year ago, and I just said, "Oh well, that kind of sucks. Like, how could you ruin like a channel that bad?" And people do support an underdog. Like I watched his channel took off when he was on his loss journey and he was trying to get his life in order and everything, and then he just reverted back. So, but it's hard. It's a lot of hard work, and unfortunately, it looks like he has a mentality that he just doesn't want to put the work in to make his life better. He just wants someone to come in and solve it for
And
him.
guys, we're talking about this because it's relative to what's popular when it comes to what people think nowadays. A lot of people, they are self-loathing victims, a lot of people. And once they get the money, all of a sudden that self-loathing temporarily goes away and they forget about the things that they need to work on and they do stupid things with their money. Like a lot of people, once they get that money coming in, the emotions kick in like, oh, everything's going to be good forever. And then they don't even work on
Mhm.
the things they need to work on to better themselves.
Exactly. And unfortunately, that's just that's just how human nature is, and unfortunately it's a hard thing to fight. It's the same thing as like a lot of the NBA, especially NBA players, but professional athletes, they go in, they get all this money, and there's no one there to guide them, no financial advisors there, nothing. And it's just you've amplified what they actually are as a person by tenfold. It's just astronomical how much is it you change with that. And I can't say it. I have the same thing. And what I use is I use my brother as kind of like a stopgap to me being a degenerate with the money that I earn. He's kind of like there to say, "Hey, get back in line. This isn't something that you need to do. Is that really worth it?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, well no, I'm not going to do it." So, and my brother kind of does the same thing. He says, I'm going to do all this." Like, well, do you really need it? No, then okay, then let's not do it. Because like even though like my brother and I have worked really hard at building everything we have, we could burn through it all in probably like 6 months. We could probably burn through everything. And you don't realize if you don't have these mechanisms in place, built a mentality, you can run through all the money that you built up over all this hard work, over all the trials and tribulations, everything you've sacrificed to get to that point. You can just you can quickly burn it all. And it's unfortunate because Boogie is the exact reason is an example of showing you why that happened. It just happens, and unfortunately, most of us are that. have those dark traits that are in there. Let me catch up on some of you guys' comments here. Shout out to Stop Loss. Damn, there's documentaries an hour long. Yeah, there's a lot of people covering it. Shout out to Steve.East, Steve Williams. Damn, he has my name too. Uh, he's a Pokemon guy. I think he did Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, collectibles, things of that nature. It was a variety of things that he did. It's just it's just he did a lot, and he had a channels like based around his life, around his collectibles, and kind of expanded to his gaming, and it kind of became like one big vlog channel. And he just he turned it to a selfish need, which it was always there to be that self. His attitude was always there. He just did a better job of masking it in the beginning when he wasn't making as much. When he started hitting the high revenue streams, he started kind of changing his mentality towards it, towards his channel and things. Not just his mentality, like his true nature just kind of came out. And that's just how it is. Because whenever we start something, we're excited about it. We start something new, we're excited about it. We want to build it. We want to grow it. We want to make it work. So everyone's kind of got their best foot forward. Kind of got their like their church outfit on at that point. And then as you start getting success, as it gets bigger, as it keeps growing, as it keeps rising, then all of a sudden, like the actual person starts to come through. That's just how it is. It's kind of like when people say, "Oh, they were so humble in the beginning, but now they're
No.
so entitled and arrogant." They were always that. It's just that they were hiding it much better in the beginning. Now they just don't care because they feel like they're going to get the money regardless, and that's why. But it's a prime example of if you're making that much money off of something like YouTube or a side hustle or like a business that you're running that's not really serious, kind of like a part-time business, and you are making a ton of money off of it, make sure you have your financial game plan. This is why a certified financial advisor and planner is very important in everyone's life, because when those changes happen, they can help you kind of put a stopgap to your degenerate spending and whatever wants you. The degenerate spending just doesn't mean buying bad things. It could mean you're giving away too much money. Like what was it? Tyler Perry, in the beginning, his first 5 years of true success, he never saw any of his wealth because he was helping out every single family member, people in his community, and he had to realize he had to stop. He wasn't making any money. He wasn't even keeping the money for himself that he was working so hard for. He was giving it away as quickly as it was coming in. And so, like, that's a very positive thing to do, but it's still a degenerate thing to do according to your financial success, because it's got to be reinvested. Whenever you're making peak earning, you got to be investing continuously into your plan, into your investments until you can grow it to where you want it to be. But that's basically all I really got to say on Boogie. I think I ran a little long. I know Cody's got a lot of topics that we want to
That's
kind
the
of
reason
go.
why I brought it up, because it's a very good thing to start our stream out on. You don't want to let ego and a poor, corrupt self image destroy what you've worked hard for, and that's pretty much all we're
Mhm.
saying. What you work hard for, you got to have a good self image. You gotta love yourself. You have to really understand that my self image is important, and it ties into your finances. It really does.
Yeah, and the same thing happens in reverse too. There's a lot of people have overwhelmingly great self-image, and they have the discipline to maintain working out and building everything, but then it doesn't transfer over to the other areas of your life. Like, as we're living our lives, we got many buckets to fill. You can't just fill up the fitness bucket and just say, "Okay, I'm done. Everything should just fall into place." No, you kind of have to build everything else. You got the fitness bucket down, which is hard, which is very hard to do. All the just getting one bucket started is hard, but Once you get one filled, then we can move on to the next one and the next one. Because you can't be in shape and you can't afford the gym membership. You got to be able to afford to live life because being in shape nowadays, it's like it flipped. It used to be when I was a little kid, if a person was overweight, it was because they had a lot of money and they were eating in excess because they had the ability to buy the food. Now it's in the opposite. It's because we're overweight because we're having poor dietary choices and we're not paying for the better quality food. Like I went to Atkins this morning to get all my meat because it's all no hormones or any of that stuff, and grass fed, all that stuff. And I'm talking about spending $500 just for meat for myself and my brother. $500 for the month. An average family can't spend $500 on that. They have to put you have to spend as little as possible and save for, especially if you have kids. You have to save for emergencies because kids will do the darndest things, and you'll come home and one of your kids will be like, "Well, I broke my arm today." It's like, oh, of all days and times, this has to happen. Shout out to George. How much will XRP shoot up when the full settlement occurs? When will the settlement take place? It's. I mean, we still have a few appeals to take place on it. I think of this bull run, it should start to run up. I'm not thinking $10, $12. I'm thinking 4 to 5 range. I know there's a lot of people saying it's going to go up to the moon, but not in the next year or so. But it will start to make money. Just one of those. It's one of those coins that's just going to take a decade for it to get back to where it should have been last bull run. Excuse me. Shout out to Reptile King too. Welcome in. Glad to have you in here. Hope you're having a great day. Uh, as always, Reptile King, we're talking about what's in your portfolio. I go over my losses and everything, which we haven't done yet. We've been talking about the downfall of the YouTuber Boogie, which unfortunate it happens, but how his poor mindset of money has put him into a very bad situation. Shout out to George. I want to put in another 75K. When will there be a good time? Um, if we, I don't think we'll have a dip before Christmas time. I think the dip will come after New Year's in the beginning of January. I think that's when we're going to have a correction to this relief rally because it's running too strong right now to give out. This like the someone's shoveling. There's enough people shoveling coal into the steam engine. So I have a feeling it's going to keep pushing. It's going to push a little harder for the I would say probably for at least the next 30 days. I don't think we're going to have any negative financial news next month and a half. It won't be till January that things start to go down again. And then of course we'll have more banking insolvencies and stuff like that. And then we'll go down a little further. And hopefully April will finally hit the bottoming out of the recession. That's just my hopes on there. But I'm
That would
not
be
really
2 years.
thinking other than quant right now and Ethereum. Go ahead, Cody. I'm sorry.
That would be 2 years after what was the bottom in June of 2022, back when ETH hit 850. If we
Yes.
2 year, and it would make sense because it would take until 2024, mid to late, for us to bottom out in the recession. That sounds perfect. I don't see the recession bottoming out in 25 or 26. I see it happening late 24.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting really close to the bottoming out of this recession. I'm holding off on making any major buys. I'm only been buying $2,500 dollar cost average brackets. So I bought a little Sol. I've been buying some H bar, but I bought Sol like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't touched it since. But I've been buying uh ad share. I've been buying Ethereum, Quant, and I might just buy. Even though we're up on Dot, and I'm up pretty good on Dot, I'm probably still going to keep buying Dot because in the fives is a good range for me to buy. But XRP, I'm not buying any.
A
I
lot of
didn't.
people don't understand that DOT is a long haul token. Like
Yes.
Polkadot, it's still on Polkadot 1.0. Polkadot 2.0 hasn't even come out, and the amount of parachains on the network, it's not even close to its goal.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to George. I want more XRP before any XRP ETFs come out. I don't think we're going to have any of those come out anytime soon, especially not in the next year. It's going to have, well, if there is an ETF coming out with XRP, it's going to happen after it's shot down by the appeal is shot down by the Supreme Court, and then that would be the time when those ETFs comes out. Unfortunately, that's probably years away. But that also depends if Gary Gensler even stays in the SEC chairman position, because he might not make it to next year either. He's either going to be forced to resign or he's going to resign on his own accord. I think that's the only outcome he has for this. But I know we got some more. We got some more topics to talk about. But before we get into that, I know now we got quite a few guys in here. You know, beginning of November, my crypto portfolio, I my picks have not changed that much. I just been dollar cost averaging into them and growing each segment. But we're looking at 1.76 million on crypto at the beginning of this month, and now I'm getting close. I'm at 1.9 million on my crypto portfolio. So we're getting very close, which is I'm probably will start taking profits, especially on Bitcoin. I have a feeling Bitcoin's going to go back down to the low 20s, and then once we get a couple months after the halving, it's going to start cycling back up again. Ethereum, I haven't made enough off of Ethereum to justify a dollar cost average. XRP, I kind of made some money, but not as much as worthwhile dollar cost averaging. Kind of same thing with Dot, and Quant. Link is the only other one I've made enough off of to think about kind of dumping, like not dumping, but cashing out some of the profits, bringing it back to 8% of my portfolio because right now it's at 13%, and
Oh
that's a pretty
yeah,
big chunk.
a lot of people are thinking the same thing. Actually, I feel like a lot of people are going to take their profits on Chainlink, and the glory on the price pump is going to fade down. But next bull run, I see it outperforming so much more than when it did last bull run. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, exactly. Shout.
Even with the concept of diminishing returns.
Yep, exactly. Shout out to Fitman. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate you joining in here. And hope you enjoy the live. And hopefully you can subscribe to us on YouTube. And by the way, any of you guys that are joining in, all the lives are saved on YouTube, so you can go back and watch them all. There's well over a few hundred hours worth of lives that we have. Shout out to Fitman. Grok the meme coin. Please check. Yeah, we could check that out in a little bit. What was the next topic you want to talk about there, Cody? I know we got done with.
I don't have it off the top of my head, to be honest. I just kind of want to talk as we go, like talk more about what we have invested, talk more about our mindsets, because those are the most important too. There's not really too much news out there other than the Ethereum ETFs coming out, and that's what pumped it. And even that's losing some hype. Those ETF hypes are usually short lived,
Oh
but it
yeah.
did pump the price of Ethereum. Uh,
Hmm.
Ethereum's tokenomics are definitely showing deflationary right now. When the market's bullish, Ethereum becomes deflationary. When it's bearish, it becomes inflationary. So that's always a good thing to remember.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
also want to talk more about Polkadot. Like I talk about Polkadot a lot in the Discord. You must think like I'm a paid shill, but I'm not. I love Polkadot. It's gonna do some big things, especially with Cardano using Polkadot substrate. Because if you guys don't know, Cardano is actually using Polkadot substrate for interoperability.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Let me just catch up on some of the stuff. Cody, shout out to Derek. I'm taking profits on anything that jumped more than 50% this month. Good idea. If that's your comfortable mark, then yes, take it. It's a good idea if it makes sense to you. I mean, profit's profit, 50% up. Most of them have done 50% up or more. It probably would be a wise idea to level out your portfolio and then invest back in. But also, guys, keep in mind that that my crypto portfolio is only 10% of my net worth. So if I lose any money in it, it's not hurting me in the long run. So I have a different set of finances on there. However, if the 50% profit, the 50% up has made you a significant life changing profit, then yes, it is time to take out for you. So I do think that's a good idea, Derek. Shout out to Crypto Cleaner. Thought about taking profits on Chainlink, but it's not worth it to me to trade it. I'll just add. Yeah, and it's it's also good just to wait till it goes back down and start dollar cost averaging some more in. Definitely a good idea as well to do that. But looking at the Grok coin, I mean, we're talking about a meme coin. I don't I don't think there's any real value in, looking at the meme coins. I mean, there isn't really much about it other than that it's up since it's ICO, it's up 110%. That's probably only because of hype, and right now most of it's because of the good market. Other than that, it was trending downward. So it's going to raise with the market just because of the hype and because people hope to moonshot this, but it's not. You're going to be end up being liquidity for whoever founded this token to make a lot of money. That's the only person who's going to make money. That's just my opinion. Shout out to Crypto Cleaner. X excellently. Everyone's situation is different. Absolutely, you got to take it versus yours. What your risk assessment is. Shout out to Crypto Caddy. Remember short term versus long term capital gains when taking profits. Also, an excellent suggestion there. I'm going to pin that one there for you guys. Definitely want to make sure that you're analyzing your short term and long term capital gains when taking profits in crypto or stocks, especially trading. I know a lot of trading gurus do not talk about that, about the capital gains and what goes on there.
They don't, and a lot of people they get caught up in day trading. I know Crypto Dream. He brought up something about a YouTuber saying that day traders make more money, and that is in fact a lie. A lot of these day traders they want you to get subscribed to their YouTube channel or buy their course, even if they're not selling a course. They want to make money off of you subscribing, and they will say things like, "Oh, day trade." They don't talk about capital gains because capital gains tax are boring to young people. You know, it gets young people straight into day trading, and a lot of people they get this false illusion that day trading is the way to go. It's not. It's not.
Exactly. And unfortunately, like day trading is very, very hard. Very hard. Even when I was a broker and trader for private equity firms, like we did not come up with our trading ideas. They paid analysts to sit there and look at everything. Then we would have a meeting about what the analysts came up with, and then they would decide what we were trading, our price points, our target points, and that was it. And we would go out there and just do that. That was what a trader did. uh it's the day trading thing is just another thing that's going to come now because the markets are going to start swinging upwards again for a little bit. There's a, yeah, I'm making this, I'm making that. If you're making $9,000 a day, you must be trading some serious options, and that many people trading that many options would affect the markets. Like, and I just don't see it. um Shout out to Fitman. We will see a pullback of all coins in January, or Bitcoin spot ETF is approved by the SEC. Uh, I'm sure we'll get approved by the SEC eventually, but the altcoins and the whole crypto market kind of going back down in January is where I predict it will happen. It it's just right where I plausibly see people's emotions kind of going. Nobody wants to be sad and down during the holidays. They kind of want to be up and making money. So,
Yes.
and I think right now the market is reflecting that, and then it's going to reflect in the opposite direction once the holidays kind of cool off. Shout out to DYOFR. Here's a real coin to look at, and it pumped Celestia TIA. So let's take a quick look at that one while we're here. Then we could get on to talking about DOT. So looking at it here, it's overall since ICO, it's up 104% in the 1 month. I guess it's only been out for 1 month. So 104% is definitely taking a huge pump over with the current market environment.
I do
Everyone's trying.
not want to buy that.
Definitely right now, you don't want to buy in because it will be dropping hard. But let's see what they do. Let's just take a quick look at a synopsis here. They also do have. Well, I can't really tell if they have how many followers they have. Well, excuse me. But we can do. I can do a deep dive of this too for you guys, and I can add it to the list today. But it looks like they, the departure from status quo, monolithic change, blah blah blah. So from what I'm seeing, it looks like they're trying to enhance the blockchain and developer experience and user experience of ecosystems. So I'd have to really take a look at it. Other
Check
than
the
that,
buzzwords.
I'm sorry.
Check the buzzwords.
Or, other box. Well, they keep mentioning modular approach, modular blockchain, but we'll have to really take a look at their website, kind of do a deep analysis of it, and we might be able to see where and what they're doing and how they're what their long term plan is. Because can't really take it from a month worth of data, but however, it's definitely going to come down after the volume of trading is done. Here it is. So we have a billion total supply, a billion tokens circulating supply right now, 141 million. Trading volume is almost as high as its market cap at 588 million, and it's going down. So it looks like there's a lot of people who got in at the beginning are starting to sell their bags as you doubled your money, which kind of makes sense from a trading behavior. So we'll have to see. Right now, it's only based on 2 institutional ratings, so it's like a 3.1 out of 5 stars. So we'll have to take a look at this. I'll probably have to make a full video about this one. But hey, thanks for bringing this to my attention. There, DYOFR. The real Web3 industry has been getting into Celestia for months. The token is the new part. Okay, like I said, we just have to do a deep dive on it and then really give a full answer. But right now, I would not invest in it because it's pumping with the market and it's eventually going to go down with the market. Shout out to Habesha. Thanks for the follow. And Sal to Solo. Thanks for the follow too. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys enjoy it. And thanks for your guys' support. Really appreciate that there. But let's go and talk about DOT because I know we've been talking about DOT in the Discord for the last like 24 hours pretty much.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna pull it up on the month chart here. I'm also gonna pull up KuCoin so you can see the trading volumes. All right. Let me just pull up here. But go ahead, Cody, because DOT is kind of your territory. But I will say this, guys, I am pretty long term on Polkadot.
I'm
Like,
bullish on how fast it can be because with the more parachains added on the network, the faster it is. And DOT can potentially reach up to 100,000 to 1,000,000 transactions per second. I mean, you guys talk about Solana and HBAR being fast. I mean, DOT with the more parachains added, it will get there. Like I'm very confident in it. I even got my polka dot T-shirt on right now. Like I actually have a polka dot T-shirt. And you guys know I love Quant. I love Ethereum. I don't have T-shirts of those yet. I'm gonna actually get a Quant and Ethereum T-shirt, but as of right now, I have my polka dot T-shirt, and it actually catches a lot of eyes in public. I've had a lot of people look at my shirt. They either know what it is or they don't.
Yeah, I will say I like the scalability of Polkadot. I do like the fact that it is just it is being built into a powerhouse. There are some downsides to it, but not enough for me to not have it part of my portfolio. As you guys know, I it is dot is 10% of my crypto holdings, so I do have a pretty large stake in dot. Uh, I did the release of the tokens in October didn't really affect it. I think that was the 24th. It didn't affect the price at all. The price is still going up. I definitely don't see where I definitely don't see it burning out. I do see it doing well in the bull run. It's going to be one of the last performers. It's probably going to be forgotten about until all of a sudden it just starts kind of getting momentum out of nowhere. Shout out to Crypto Caddy. I wear XRP hats and no one ever knows what it is. Yeah, a lot of the altcoins nobody's too familiar with. The only ones they know of are Doge and Shiba, probably Pepe Coin now too. Bitcoin and Ethereum, not much. Although there are a few people that know of Dot, Quant, Chainlink, anything, any of the few like bigger top 20 tokens they kind of know. Shout out to Danny Boy. What do you think of the Crow coin? Well, I like the staking of the Crow coin, and I like the credit card that's based off of it. But currently now, I got my credit card and I sold the Crow once I my year was up, so I kind of liquidated it. I think it was like around March of this year. I got rid of all my Crow tokens and just said, just cashed out. Said I got what I needed off of it, and I put that money into Dot. I put that funds into Dot. Is what I did. Shout out to Danny Boy again. Do you think it can be like the Binance coin? Um, Probably not, because Binance, uh, Crypto.com isn't paying their employees in Crow. They're paying them in cash, whereas Binance pays some of its employees or a good portion of them in the Binance token, and that kind of artificially pumps up the value of it. However, with the credit card, and as more people get back into crypto and they realize the credit card might be a little bit better way to go than the traditional credit card, they might start opting for like the Jade and the Ruby ones. And that will help bring up the Crow token because more people will be staking and more people will be earning. Shout out to J Roll. Welcome in. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate you joining in. Hope you're enjoying this. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Definitely glad to have you in here. And welcome back, Crypto Dream. I know Cody has the same problem, forgets to keep his phone charged. So, but welcome back in. Glad to have you in here. Uh, well, as far as Dot, I'm probably won't ever fully exit out of Dot, even if it goes up to our price target of 80 to 120. I'm keeping it for like the next 10 years because I believe it's going to be around, especially with the gaming sector taking off and things like that. Well, the crypto gaming sector, because the play to earn is really kicking off. Cody sent in an article in our
Ubisoft.
Discord for Ubisoft. Let me just see if I can go back
Creators
up.
of Assassin's Creed, by the way.
Yep. Man, we've been talking a lot in there. But yeah, they're joining in. It's only a matter of time before we get positive news from Rockstar Games about GTA 6 having the play to earn aspect in it. So there's a lot that's happening, but it's happening pretty quietly in the gaming sector. So I think most of those tokens, which is why I'm invested in Edge. ad share is because I am a firm believer that that token will do well with helping monetize users and creators for the crypto gaming platform with advertising and things like that. So I have a feeling we're going to have a good gaming sector in this next bull run, especially depends on how this the economy plays out in the next 12 months, because we got a lot of crazy stuff still happening in the economy that we're just kind of waiting to, like, we're on the sidelines waiting to see how it's going to affect, especially like we got the student loans coming that are going to be defaulting soon if they haven't paid, and we have people defaulting on auto loans. And unfortunately, that's going to bleed into the housing sector because there'll be good tier one credit individuals that will drop out of tier one credit because of repossessions and defaults on loans, credit cards, student loans, things
Go
like that.
more in depth to our audience about what defaulting is, because some people may not know.
Absolutely. We'll definitely get into that. Shout out to Fitman, Theta Network. Yeah, we could look into that real quick after we go over this topic. Shout out to Rose Outstone. Glad to have you in here. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. What people understand is defaulting. Default hurts hard, but each default hurts you a little differently. So like student loan defaulting is they're not the bank is not making any money, the loaner isn't making money, and the agency that's collecting and monitoring all the payments is not making any money. So then they got to take a financial loss. At the same time, they're putting it on someone who had good standing. Now their credit's going downhill. So if their credit is no longer tier one and is going backwards, and banks are consolidating on tier one and dropping everyone else, it gets harder and harder for them to be a consumer in this economy with less spending power, less credit power. So defaulting is very bad, but each default has a difference. So like a default in a student loan is worth about like four auto loan defaults because they get the asset, they get the car back or the vehicle back, and then they sell it and they recoup some of their losses. The student loan, how they're going to recoup their losses is they're going to garnish your Social Security. That, despite what people say, there's plenty of money in Social Security because that's why they're going to garnish it, and they're going to pull it out now. So if you were expecting that you hit the 11 quarters, whatever it is of Social Security, and you're going to get like 2,500, you may not end up only getting 800, and that's a huge surprise. And you don't want to be in that situation where it's like, well, I said F you to student loans. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people like me that are invested in companies like NLY and ORC that handle student loan debt, and all those payments go into that pot that pays out dividends for us. Whether you pay or the government pays or you pay out of your Social Security fund, but that stuff's getting paid. So it's better that you work and pay it off and make smart decisions. And to that, I want to kind of bring this up because the common thing that people always say is, "Oh, my Starbucks does not affect anything," right? Well, here is something that we can consider my version of Starbucks, right? I like these iced teas. They're two for 30 for they're two for $3.50. And I buy them every day. I buy two every day, right? So I got $3.50 times 7. So I'm up to $24.50. Now times that by 4, I'm up to $98 just on iced tea. Times that by 12, I spent $1,176 a year just on this. This. That's a lot, and you don't think about it until you analyze it like that. So whenever there's a lot of you younger ones, millennials, Gen Zers, the next one's coming up, that's how much you spend, and this is just for iced tea. Iced tea. This is just iced tea. So let's go over Starbucks. Average Starbucks comes to about 850, right? 850 seems to be the nationwide average. You times, let's just say 5 days, going to work 5 days. That's $42.50 per week times 4. That's $170 per month times 12. That's $2,040 per year that you're spending just on going to Starbucks. This is assuming you're buying some type of cheap pastry or something like that there too, right? That's a lot of money. Do you think that 2,000 could have went into investments and helped you grow? Probably. But when you start adding this stuff up, you realize that, oh shit, I'm spending like seven to $8,000 on useless stuff. So if you cut that stuff out and spend within your means and say, hey, look, I won't have the stuff I want right now. I'll invest and hold off so I can get the stuff I want later.
It's the
Because
same thing.
1 second, Cody. Just 1 second here, because a lot of you guys, especially in your 20s, if you work hard and forego in your 20s, by the time you're in your 30s, you'll be in a much better position, and then you can do a lot of things that you want, such as work at a job that you want. You don't have to get stuck working at a job you hate. Shout out to Crypto Cleaner. I spend $10 to $18 a year on Starbucks. I brew my own iced tea. Yeah, that's the way you do. Start doing it yourself. Like I used to really go for Starbucks back in the day to for mocha lattes. Figure out how to make them here without all the fancy machines. So it's like it can be done, and it's a lot cheaper. And I probably only spend hundreds of what I would have spent just going there every day to get the same drink. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody. Are you there, Cody? And also, shout out to Danny Boy. Thanks for the follow. Glad to have you in here.
Okay, can you hear me?
Hey, Cody. Yep, I can
Hello?
hear you.
Hello? Can
Yep,
you
go
hear me
ahead.
fine?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's the same thing for vices. It's like, um, I'll admit this. Shoot, I smoke marijuana, and I realized how expensive marijuana is. Like, over if you buy a pound of weed, that's like $1,200. But if it depends on your tolerance. I'm not talking. I'm trying to promote drugs on the stream, but it's like, for example, vices like marijuana. It's like if you're the type of person to buy an eighth of marijuana and you go through it in like 2 or 3 days, and you keep having to re-up and buy more, that it's expensive. And I've realized too what marijuana does. It's like I could have more money for investments, but instead I'm spending money on a vice that feels like medicine to me, because it does mellow me out. It does make me feel more creative. Some people, they feel like couch potatoes when they smoke weed, but me, I feel like I could go to the gym or like create a project on it. But not everybody's the same way. That's why I don't recommend marijuana to people. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, dude, you should smoke. Like, no. It's like vices like that, it adds up too.
Exactly. And a lot of things kind of just change. A lot of drugs or anything just kind of enhance. It's like money, it enhances who you are. It's so you just got to be careful and really got to know your true self, because some things, like I have a very addicted personality. I know that anything, alcohol or anything like that, could be a detriment. So I just stay away from it. I just try
I'm
to
the
stay away.
same way.
But I am putting in the link if you'd like to join us on the set on YouTube, or you want to hit the guest icon down here on TikTok. I will be happy to have you on, share your viewpoints, ask your questions. We're just keeping it finance ready, so we're just talking about finance and all that stuff. Shout out to Reese Gunkill. Welcome in. Glad to have you in here. Shout out to Alexis. I agree. Same for me. And shout out to PTZ. Welcome back in, buddy. Glad to have you in here. Hope you're having a great day chasing that bag. Hope you all are having that great day. If we could hit that like button and get the shares going, we would really, really appreciate all that stuff there. So, yep, just looking through everything here for you guys. So glad to have you in here. We're going to keep talking. It's going to be open forum, so you guys can definitely ask your questions, and we'll be more than happy to try to get an answer to best of our abilities. Um, I also want to say I know a lot of people keep waiting for the housing market to drop. I mean, and they're saying like, well, I don't want a bad economy, but I want the housing market to go down. That's not going to happen. If the housing market goes down, then we are going to have a bad economy. The best thing you can do is find a house that's affordable in your budget. Make sure you account for everything in your going on in your life, and make sure that you get the house that you know will have value in about 10 years, so you can pay down the mortgage, and when it gets time for interest rates, refinance that house. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm not buying any more rental properties. I'm up to 212 doors, just leaving it as it is. And when interest rates go back down, I will refinance. But also, I want to kind of touch base on this too. Is just another thought that popped in my head is I keep seeing YouTubers on my feed talk about don't save your money, inflation. It's like, look, I just locked up half of my reserve fund for my moving company in with a local bank for 5.9% APY on a money market CD. So I don't know where people are saying don't save your money because like that's a guarantee from the bank. I leave it in there, 13 months comes out. I could either reinvest it with the interest or take it out and move it to a different bank with a better deal. So there are ways that you can save money at your bank, and right now banks are raising those APYs for CDs and money markets because they are in desperate need of deposits. So that's what they're trying to attract. Especially if you're under $250,000, you have no need to fear because the FDIC is going to fund that for you, and at the very least, you're going to get your money back from the from a tax bill out anyway with
I
that.
do.
So there's no worries on that. Go ahead, Cody. You got some thoughts on that?
Chainlink is down 3%, and the Polkadot volume is crazy right now. It's actually at 500 million. That's pretty big for Polkadot. I've never usually
Hmm.
Polkadot calms down in the 50 to 100 millions, but it's at 500 million.
Yeah, and it's up 30% on volume for the day. So it looks like it's just going to keep growing. Looking at the buy charts here, it looks like we're getting some sell off, or we're getting just as much, if not more, on the buying side as I'm kind of scrolling through here. Yeah, some people selling dust, small. I mean, 4 dot, and then we got some 16, 14, but then we got like 93 bought, 91 bought, 88 bought. You know, we're looking 254 there, 1,000 bought there, 500, 366. We have a 1,100 sold, couple of 400s, but most of it's kind of low. There's a 700. Yeah, it seems like the buying is outpacing it, which is why if you look at it, if we go back to 30 minutes, you can see we're on an upward trajectory with the price just because more and more people are buying it. And it's looking like it's going to be a good strong momentum going through for the rest of today. I don't know if we'll break $6, but it'll probably break 580 in a couple days. And usually if we're having a good Sunday, usually the rest of the week is going to be good. That's what I've noticed. Shout out to Crypto Dream. I can't figure out how Robert Kiyosaki lives on debt. Uh, Shout out to DYOFR. His profit return is higher than his debt's interest rates. Um, so let me touch base on that. What you can do when you own rental properties is what they do is they constantly like every year or so like cash out the equity in the properties, and then they use that at it's really like an accounting glitch because like I don't like doing my accounting that way because it's not like a real gain because I owe the money, and if I'm not producing enough, because now right now with corporate refinancing you're probably going to get 10 to 12%, and it doesn't make sense to pull out equity. But what I do is my mortgage on my mortgage values is never more than 50%. So once I hit in the 50s percent of my total value of my properties, I don't buy anything and I just start paying the debt down. And then when we get back up, and that's also assuming I keep stuff in reserve. I can't say for Kiyosaki because I don't know. I'm not privy to his books, but how he keeps saying that there's profit is they're cashing out the equity and labeling the equity as profit, which of course it exceeds the previous payments because the previous payments were based off the old mortgage. But now you got a new mortgage with a new rate with a new payment, and house values, property values don't go up forever. Eventually, it's going to come down.
I have not read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I will say there are heavy critics on that book, and I don't even know how to feel about it. I honestly want to read it just to know what it's, just to say I read it and know fully what it's about and understand it. But I've seen people criticize Robert Kiyosaki heavily.
Yes. His biggest claim is on that book. On that book is basically using debt to your advantage, which works in a low interest rate economy, which we had for 20 years. But now we're going back to 80s interest rates where this didn't work and people were going bankrupt. So I don't know. I see a lot of them, especially since a lot of the loans that they were doing were on commercial assets. And right now, commercial assets are hurting. Banks are recollateralizing. They're forcing businesses to restructure, change debt. I do know that some storage units are are changing their late fee structure and payment structure because they just you just can't compete. You just can't outpace that loan. You can't outpace that loan. And a lot of people don't know is that corporate interest rates on corporate debt is not set. It's not fixed. It's always APY. It just gets adjusted. So, and because they do balloon type mortgages where they get low payments right off the interest here, all it's like it's just clever accounting, and eventually it catches up. And when the economy goes, that's when all these people are going to go with it. Like, and Kiyosaki should know because in 1993 we had a record number of billionaires go bankrupt from this model of debt allocation and investing. So I don't know why all of a sudden again it's because once again humanity we just tend to forget what happened in the past. But this is playing out exactly like 1993. Exactly like 1993. The interest rates are going to start climbing, the corporate loans are going to go bust, and then everybody that cashed out for equity is going to go like that. And all of a sudden, boom, it's out. Like under he's right about understanding you should use debt intelligently. So like don't use debt for like consumer purchases. Like don't rack up your Amex card if you're only making $60,000 a year. Because Amex will let you rack that stuff up 30 or $40,000 past its limit. But make sure but when it comes to using smart debt, like getting your first rental property on a fixed mortgage FHA loan, perfect. Smart debt use. Getting a loan to start a business, bad debt use. You know, there's just there's a lot of examples of bad and good, but and he kind of goes over them. But the thing is that how debt works is how that system works is values have to keep going up. And if they're not going up, you're going to be in trouble because then it goes down. You have to recollateralize the difference, and you most likely don't have the cash because you spent the cash on something else. Shout out to Crypto Dream. I've read two of his books. Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad was fair for changing the average person's looks on money. Yeah, it just gave you a different perspective on there, a different perspective on how to use your money wisely. But like every year he's reevaluating his debt, and that's just insane because his debt is almost as much as the value of the property. So if any hiccup happens, it's going downhill. Shout out to Anthony, glad to have you in here. and thanks for your support. But there are better ways to get 5% than using debt instrument playing the yield spreads. Um, like I said, for playing yield spreads on bonds and everything, that's pretty good. But while I was talking about for like the 5.9% APY on money market accounts, is that you you can put that in there. You get it backed by the FDIC, and you can also, if you're over that limit, you can also go to another bank and get well under the amount of interest you earn if you don't feel like the bank. Like if I had $5 million in a product like that with Bank of America, I'd probably go get insurance to cover the $5 million credit swap loss. But if it if I'm at like some local bank that's only lending out to tier one credit people in the town, I probably don't need it. It's probably not going to go anywhere. You won't get a run on the bank. You won't get anything. If anything, if I leave the bank, I'll cause problems. Then that's probably a good way to go. A good way to go. But you don't want to start playing yield spreads unless you got all the other things set up first, like your reserve fund, your money mark, your plan in place, and all that stuff. Welcome back, Cody, and shout out to Crypto Dream. Well, go have a great lunch. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and make sure you guys go to his channel. Go to his channel, join, subscribe, and follow him on TikTok and YouTube. There, but welcome back, Cody. I didn't even notice that you're off. I was talking so much.
No, you're good. I'm just listening.
Shout out to Anthony. I was referring to Kiyosaki's ideology. Okay, because I haven't really read much about his books, or I only recently found out he had a lot of books. I've heard about Rich Dad Poor Dad from like the 2000s era, and it just my impression from it was just use debt wisely. But you can't get 5% yield spreads off of all this stuff when the market's going downhill. It has to constantly go uphill. You have to constantly go up. And his thing was constantly saying, well, I'm getting the debt tax free because I buy it off of it and then I join it. I get the equity out, but then you got to pay that money back on the equity. So you're being taxed, but you're being taxed in a completely different way, which is they're taxing you on interest rates. Because if you try to pull out an equity loan now, you're probably gonna get 8%, not 3.5. So now you're basically getting your payments tax compounded at 8%, whereas I could just pay the capital gains and be done with it, and money's not going to be taxed. It's kind of like having the IRS tax you every month for what you did last month, and then compounding it every month that you don't pay, and saying, well, you didn't fully pay off the principal, so we're going to compound the whole interest rate. You just got to be careful because you put too much debt on a business, a company, or anything. It's it's only gonna get worse. Like I've had a massive amount of debt on my moving company, and it was not a good position. I I don't like, but it will tighten you up. It will make you budget right, but I do not want that feeling of I have to make it or bust mentality. I want to be at a place to where, like I said, if I get a loan on a business, it's 10%. That's it. 10% of what I bring in. Shout out to Anthony, but you don't pay taxes on loans or debt. That's how they skate the system. Not really. You get taxed one way or the other. Like I said, you either get taxed by the government or you get taxed by the bank on interest. So if I'm pulling out equity as a loan, I got to pay that interest back. And there's early payoff fees, penalties, all that. They don't talk about any of that stuff. So and your earnings have to outpace. So if I'm taking out money for real estate projects, obviously it's rental or commercial rentals, it's residential rentals or commercial rentals. I got to make sure those tenants are in there. Then I got to make sure that the rental income is outpacing the interest, which is also hard if you are refinancing now because you want to cash out $1 million tax free. But that $1 million on 8% interest. Let me pull up a loan calculator here because 8% interest right now. Let's just see here. I can put in $1 million, right? Let's just say you do 5 years and it's at 8%. You're paying, like, instead of paying your capital gains, which will be, or let's just say it's off of a business, Anthony, right? Let's just say it's off a business, $1 million, because I pay myself dividends, and off my moving company, I'm paying myself a dividend about 1.1 million, right? So 1 million, 11% on a dividend tax is $110,000 taxed. The interest on doing it Kiyosaki's way is I'm going to have to pay back $216,583.66. And now I got a payment every month of $20,276 every month. Whereas I can just pay myself a dividend based off of the cash flow and save, only take out 11%. So I'm saving almost what? Set 107 saving $107,000 off of doing it that way in the long term of things. Plus, since it's my business, I could say, "Hey, I'm reinvesting that into something else, so I don't have to pay the dividend tax. It's going to be a reinvestment, so I have the option to do it." So it's not. It's like I said, I'm not paying. He's correct in saying you don't pay tax on the loan, but your tax has essentially been switched over to the bank, and whoever loaned you the money is taxing you via the interest rate. And yeah, the dividend way is way cleaner. If there's profit, this is what you can take out, cut yourself a dividend, and you only pay the percentage on dividends. Now, if you only have one business and you're doing that, keep in mind dividend taxes does not contribute to your Social Security, your or Medicare or anything like that. So if you're running a business, make sure you're also paying yourself a salary too. And don't sign up as an LLC because then you can't pay yourself a salary. It has to be as an S corp. Now you can name your business LLC. It doesn't have to be an LLC. You get part of your name, but you can make sure it's an S corp so you can pay yourself a salary, which means you're always making those payments to those. As long as your business is doing well and you're paying the taxes and everything on those. Uh, I have. Well, I started out with S corps and now they are C corps, but they're also C corps under a holdings company. So even so basically all that profit goes up to the holding company, and the holdings company redistributes it. And then I have an umbrella policy because I have a pretty big net worth and I can get sued into oblivion, and it'd be very hard to fight and very costly to fight. But since I have it that way, to kind of get to me, you got to spend a lot of money to go bang, 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 bang. And what the moving company does, if someone says, "Oh, I'm going to sue the moving company," they can't go and sue the other three businesses because they're entirely separate entities under their own section in the holdings company. So all they get is that, and perpetually those businesses technically never have any money because their profit goes right to the holdings company. So I even if absolute worst case scenario happens, I could just chop off the business and restart and redo everything else over again and just transfer everything from that business to the new business. That's just kind of how you can do it. That's how you protect yourself in the business world, and that's how a lot of big retailers do it. Like let's just take Walmart, right? So Walmart's a big corporation, but each state has its own business that has, like, Walmart Alabama, and then if pushes the money into a holdings company that's like Walmart Holdings. So that's how they protect themselves because they're even more liable. They have even way more liabilities, not just with people, payroll, and all that stuff, but since they're a retailer, God forbid a world-renowned surgeon walks into there, slips and falls, breaks their hands, and now wants to sue Walmart. Or like they had about a decade ago where a Walmart truck driver rammed into a tour bus for a comedian, Like that's how they protect themselves against those things. And unfortunately, there's way too many lawyers, and they're all needing money to pay off their debt. So that's how they're coming after people. but but with Robert Kurosaki, it's like he keeps saying out there that he's a billionaire, but I haven't seen him on the list. Like Forbes has a good accurate count of everybody's net worth, and they have investigative journalists, so they can certainly go and dig it up. And he has not come up on there. If at most, I think he's worth like maybe 100 million. That's off the sale of his books and real estate. But that's just how the world works sometimes. Shout out to Crypto Cleaner. That's interesting how you set it up. Yeah, how I set up my businesses is an excellent way to do it. But if you have only one business, you also want to make sure you set it up that way too. Still, so let's say you start a new business. You want to start a used car lot. Make sure that you put the used car lot into a holdings company, because as you grow, you're going to want to invest in things. You're going to want to move money from one company to another, and that makes it very easy, because then all the profit kind of goes to the holding company. A holding company is not responsible for any of the companies. It's just a holdings company, so it just kind of holds assets and then it redistributes. So, like my real estate company can redistribute the profits from there to another company if one of the companies is starting to decline, or to readjust, fix, or I can get more money for capital investments. That's just kind of, and then it's all under one big business. And despite what you think, my businesses are not in a trust. I pay, just pay your taxes. It's how it's what it make sure you pay your taxes. There's no avoiding the taxes. Shout out to Anthony. I heard under a C corp you can put profits into separate savings as retained earnings and pay no taxes. Yes, because you can label it as retained earnings that have not been paid out to investors or anything. But I don't do that. The retained earnings go to is counts as a payment to the holdings company, so it doesn't actually make any profit. So if like my moving company will do close to $10 million in revenue this year, it will have about a $3.5 million profit, but it'll also have a $3.5 million bill, exactly the level of profit towards and to exactly the amount of profit and be paid to the holdings company. And then the holdings company is basically saying, hey, I build these companies for asset or whatever. It's building those, and then you move it over. But that's only really needed if you have a few bids, because I have my moving company, which was last year 13.5 million. Now we might make 10 million, might not. It will be in the nines. Then we have a logistics company, which is coming in at about 7.5 million this year. Have the construction company, which is coming in at close to 18, which I only have 18 million, which only have 33% ownership in. And then I have the furniture store, which at beginning of this year, I'll be buying the other half of it from the guy who wants to exit out of the partnership. We kind of got in with him in July. Like I met him in the beginning of this year. We invested together in July, and now he's kind of I'm his exit strategy, which is fine because I know how to run a furniture store. Shout out to Anthony. Where did you learn finance? You're pretty dope. Well, I appreciate that. I actually went to school for it and Wilkes University for accounting and for accounting. Not really. I didn't really study facing account, but business accounting and economics, and then I did mathematics as a minor, and that's how I learned. Shout out to DYOFR. I thought the trust was also for protecting against lawsuits to your personal net worth, so you have the lowest personal net worth as possible. You can but it can be thrown out in a court. The best thing you can do to protect your net worth is to have an umbrella policy. That's what I do. I have an umbrella policy. Unfortunately, when you start getting really high, when you start getting close to eight figures or you're in the eight figures, it's a very expensive policy. I pay roughly $100,000 a year for it. And keep in mind, and the reason why I pay is because one, I'm a fat ass, and insurance companies wants a lot of money because they're also assuming that me being a fat ass is going to kill me, which is kind of true, and why I have to lose weight to maintain to maintain that policy. But it also protects me against wrongful death, uh, unexpected death, death by act of God or act of nature, and also protects me from lawsuits, suing, and things like that. So, and if someone, let's just say someone sues me for just saying business negligence, they can sue me, and it stops there because now I have the team of lawyers from the insurance company, and then boom, right. Even though I have a personal attorney, I also have my attorneys with the insurance company, and they will protect that asset because I can also cash out from the umbrella policy when I get into my late 60s. So that's just something that I wanted to kind of go out there. Now, yes, you can use a trust, but it's like usually trusts are used in a case of where the other person is is like incapacitated, can't speak for themselves, can't work for, because usually like you have a trust for kids, people who need cover like patient care and can't respond. So like let's just say I get into a car accident, and like I have an umbrella policy where my lawyer will then become the trustee of my businesses, so it's kind of worked a little differently. But you can have a trust where if you get into an accident, boom, your trust takes over your whole estate. That's what that's for. But if you have a trust, the trust still has a value because you can borrow against your trust. So it's not like saying, "Oh, you have limited net worth." It's you can still get sued. And it depends on the judge. If you have $100 million trust, they're gonna let the lawsuit go and say, "Hey, you got to pay." So just remember, it doesn't nothing really protects you fully, but insuring yourself against it'll just be hard as hell to get another umbrella policy if you keep getting sued, if that makes sense. Who's your umbrella policy worth? It is worth Progressive, one of the largest companies out there. Unfortunately, I do not recommend it though. Progressive is kind of I don't hate them, but it's kind of I don't want to live with you, but I can't live without you kind of situation with Progressive because they are the biggest trucking insurer in the country right now, and I'm kind of stuck with them. So I like everything under one thing, so I can log in, pay one big payment, and boom, it's done. So that's just kind of how I operate with that. Shout out to PTZ. This is awesome info. Hey, you're welcome. Glad you're enjoying it. Glad you guys enjoying the live. I know we're kind of coming to the end. Uh, and I was kind of a little bit on a rant there, but I I will be having dropping 6 videos relative to starting businesses and building businesses. They'll be on Patreon first, and then when I start season 2, season 1 will then come to YouTube here. So, because there's a lot to talk about with starting businesses, finance, setting yourself up, building your success, reinvesting, pitfalls, mistakes, getting hit from frivolous lawsuits, clients not paying. There's a lot of stuff to go over. But I can say this: starting a business is the hardest path you can do to getting wealth. It's not the easiest. It's not for everybody. It's only 1% of people succeed at business, and I'm still not even in the clear of, because according to the statistics, I still have an opportunity in the next 7 years to disappear. So just go. So, and that's the only reason why I think I've lasted long enough too is because I don't want to, because I've experienced where I've worked for a business and I came to the business to start my day, and all of a sudden, like, the door's locked and has a lock and a closure notice and everything. And now it's like, man, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to feed myself? This sucks. I don't want people to go through that. I want my business to be reserved so that if we have such a bad economy that for the next 10 years I do not have a single customer, everybody can get paid the same pay and can have faith that, hey, we may not be doing anything right now, but we have a business that is paying us, and our past success will build up into future success. So, and that's kind of how I did. Now all my businesses are kind of starting to trend downward, like the furniture store or furniture chain that I am getting full ownership of is kind of in a downward trajectory. I closed half the stores, restructured everything, changed the layout, even had my mother, who's good at designing, come in and change the whole landscape. So there's a lot of things that I did. Um, Shout out to Anthony. Yeah, I always enjoy your lives. Hey, we enjoy you being in here. Glad to have you in here. How's your crypto portfolio? What's your percentage up? I am up from October. I'm up significantly, like 58, 60%. But from the beginning of this month till now, I am up 11%. I'm
Hey,
getting
Sal.
ready. I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I was just going to tell you I'm taking a shower. I'm going to be listening, but I'm taking a shower.
Okay, no problem. Um, I'm up 11%, but if we keep going on this trajectory, my crypto account might finally break the 2 million mark. And as of right now, it is only 10% of my net worth. I don't know where we'll hit after that. My stock portfolio is up 5%. And most of that was in Microsoft. It's up almost $80,000 on it. I have quite a bit in there. And I've been buying Microsoft since 2010. Like, I just been steadily dollar cost averaging in here. And a lot of my portfolio, like my stocks portfolios, didn't come from my moving company business. It actually came from me working a 9 to 5. I had a very boring 20s, boring 30s, and that's it. I just I pushed every dollar I had in there. I was driving a Corolla for 10 years. My trusty old Toyota Corolla, 2002. My first car I ever purchased, and I had it till I sold it to a dealer for $500. That's how bad it was. It was like almost 800,000 miles on that sucker. But it only cost me like $200 to do a full maintenance on the thing. Like all the net, like the full, like big inspection, you do it yourself was $218. Instead of going to
Yeah.
dealer for, I was doing stuff like that left and right with what I own, so I could save as much money as I could.
I'm
Um,
actually looking to buy a Corolla, a sport model.
yeah, the Corollas they're sturdy little cars. They can
Yeah.
take a beating, they can take the drive, they can take anything. Shoot, I've known people that didn't even get those things oil changed for several years and they still ran fine. Don't recommend it, but they still ran pretty good. Shout out to Crypto Hillbilly. Glad to have you in here. Thanks for the follow. Shout out to PTZ. How can I get on your Patreon? Let me see what the actual handle is on my Patreon. It is in the link in my TikTok bio. If you click on Simply Investing up at the top right, it should take you right to it. And you can click on there. It's set in the description. It has the link to join the Patreon in there, and you can join, support the channel, and you get there is exclusive only content. I'm working really hard on getting those videos that I did for the interviews I did, those videos edited, done right, because I really want them done nicely, not just for my sake, but for the dignity and respect of the people that I interviewed. I want them done right. Um, the link doesn't work. Let me see here. Um, it should be Simply Investing with Bobby. Simply Investing with Bobby. So patreon.com / simply investing with Bobby. And if you guys are confused, because my name is Roberto Salvatore Griffin Balsamello. So, so yeah, I got a pretty long for every day. Every almost everything's Italian. So from we always give the sons, the mom's maiden name as a middle name. So Griffin. So my mom comes from Boston area. Well, she lived most of the time in Newark, New Jersey, but she came from Boston area. Uh, you're welcome there, Anthony. Got it. And you guys also get access to the Discord. Um, if it doesn't work, I can resend you the link because sometimes it doesn't work all the way, but it's all the way in the beginning of all the posts I do, and you guys get early access to all the videos I post. And then because I put them on, like I got a 6 week schedule of videos that's going to all drop tonight on the Patreon, and it's going to debut on YouTube every week over there. But really do appreciate you guys joining in on that. Once again, if you guys want to support the channel a little bit more and help, because Cody's really good at analysts. Like I've worked with people who were stock analysts and finance analysts, but Cody actually has a knack for it. And unfortunately, because he didn't go to school, he didn't go to college, like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, none of them are ever going to pick him up. And this is probably the way for him to be able to break into that industry because he actually has a very good talent for it. So shout out to Cody because I wish you had more faith in you, buddy, because you do a great job at it. Just got some hurdles to overcome, and hopefully, if you guys can help him, we can grow this channel, help Cody get into the job that actually works for his personality and what he truly likes to do. But other than that, you got to give shout out to Cody because at 23, got a management job at Come and Go as a fresh food service manager. So definitely, he is making moves in the right direction. And hopefully, he's not going to make the same dumbass decisions I made when I was 23 because I made some pretty bad decisions and set me back about 5-6 years. So hope that we can change that. So I don't have much more to talk about, but if you guys want to we could talk about business or talk about anything else, just let me know. Comment below. Really appreciate all your guys' support. We're actually going to let this run a little bit longer so we can break that 2 hour mark for you guys. And if you guys are just coming in, you can watch the replay for free on YouTube and Rumble. I think it takes a day to repost to Rumble. I have it linked to the account, but I don't really focus on Rumble. They're all on YouTube. I always make sure that they're there for all your viewing. And Cody and I said we were going to be transparent, not hiding anything, so we'll all be there, even if our biggest L's. And trust me, for the last few months, felt like I was taking L's along with the lefts and the rights. It felt like I was fighting Tyson and Mayweather simultaneously, just getting hit constantly. Kind of like that Jujutsu Kaisen meme that kept coming out where they're just beating on the guy. Like that's what I felt like that guy for a second, just constantly getting hit in the face left and right. Like every time I turn around, moving company, we're down on sales for this company, down over here. I'm losing money over here. Money, it feels like it's a never ending loss of money, and it's getting harder and harder to maintain cash flow. But that's the point with recessions. Recession is just going to hit, and hit you and hit you, and it is crazy. But I guess we'll close out with this because I did not really fully talk over all my portfolio. So with the stocks, and keep in mind, I still have money with Betterment and Wealthfront. Both I think are great places to invest. So total liquidatable assets, stocks, and crypto. I have a total amount of assets of, and this also includes, I do have a little Roth IRA, which I stopped funding 3 years ago because there's no need to do it anymore. But also my accredited investments off a link to at 7.1 million in total assets. And that's not counting the businesses and all that fun stuff. Shout out to PTZ just starting into crypto. What's a good wallet? Cody and I are big believers of the Nano Ledger X wallet. Make sure you get that one, not the the smaller one. The small one you can't hold much on it, but the Ledger actually can hold a lot on it. So that's the one we use. But I also use Arceus Wallet, which can tie to your phone. So there's also that. But those are the two that I use. We are thinking about checking into the Solana phone and wallet that they have, as well as I want to get an EpiPal wallet and be able to do an unboxing of that one too. Because I think the EpiPal wallet has a good premise where it's truly offline. It's got a 3 stage authentication process, and you can store your crypto on the SD card that you put in there, which I think is pretty cool. But it's also those things can get corrupted pretty easily. So I don't know how I feel about that. But that also might be the borderline boomer in me, the Gen Xer boomer in me, because I'm distrustful of technology. But that's just me there for you guys. But I would say the Nano Ledger X is very good. Just make sure you have it on a computer that you don't access, like you don't use it for all the other stuff, so you don't get viruses or malware on it. Shout out to Crypto Hillbilly. Look into the Seek Suxy. I can't pronounce that. Wallet, easier to use, some nice features. Yeah, we can check in on that because I want to do. There's a couple other things I want to do, like videos on exchanges, doing a deep dive on exchanges, and videos on doing deep dives of wallets. So, kind of want to get those started there. Um, but uh, I would say I'm just not a big job of I'm just not a big job. I'm just not a big supporter of like MetaMask wallet. I don't like it. It's it's too hackable for me. Okay, good to hear. PTZ. Yeah, just purchased a Asus. I guess an Asus. One of those netbooks specifically for crypto. Yeah, that's a good idea. Make sure you use a computer because malware can come in all forms, including from like even well-known websites. You can go to Walmart or something like that and still get it. So you don't want that stuff on there. You want it on a computer you don't have tied into everything else that you do. It's just used specifically for crypto. You get in, you get out, and that's it. And I definitely recommend that approach for it. All right there. But definitely, guys, let me know if either one of you guys join the Patreon. Send me a message. I will message you over the Discord link. You also get access to all that. And anyone who supports us now on the Patreon, I'll make sure I keep track on you so that way when we do come out with t-shirts, because we have some cool sayings. I just gotta actually get time to make some t-shirts. I'll be giving them to you. Because we can have it for sale, but most likely I'm just going to give away those shirts. I'll get a few, give them out to people, especially got to give out a few to our longtime supporters, definitely in there, such as Crypto Dream and everybody. And shout out to Crypto Dream. I mostly use MetaMask, but they are fairly centralized. I can't remember, but I'm sure they've worked with KYC and banning tokens before. Yeah, I think they have to, but my thing is it's just hackable. It's very, very, very hackable. It's and unfortunately it can link to anything. So if you actually link stuff, if you I think what was it? Cody knows more about this than I do, but I know that if you and my brother does, but if you accidentally log into your computer at work, you could link your MetaMask to everyone on the network and accidentally share your crypto wallet to everybody. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Um, I just Trust Wallet either. I don't like. I really like the Nano Ledger, especially since it came out with the new Nano Ledger, the stacker. I really want to get that. I think Cody pre-ordered it. Let me see if I can. Here it is. And make sure you guys, when you are buying the wallet, that you're going to the actual site to buy it. Don't buy it off of Amazon or anything else like that. The Nano Ledger Stacker is $279, I think it is. Let me see what I'm actually going to be looking up right now for you guys. Yeah, $279, not counting shipping and taxes. It will be in stock soon, so I suggest you go and hit that notifier. I'm not a pay. Cody and I aren't paid to promote this. It's just we use Nano Ledger, and it's just been what we trust. So we only can refer you as what products we use and trust. But this one has an LCD screen and can link to your phone, so it makes it easy to transfer instead of having to get back home, transfer, stuff like that. I find that a little more convenient. And there's also a feature coming too, just like the Arculus wallet, where you can share it with other people who have the wallet. You can just directly share it offline, which will make it easy to exchange, to pay people in crypto. So the system is coming. The mechanics of the system is coming. But I like that. Otherwise, what I would do is go with the Nano Ledger X. It's a little bit better on the storage. You can watch the YouTube video about it. I think this is great, but it has to be constantly plugged into your computer. But I hope that answers that for you, PTZ. But definitely glad to have you here. The Nano Ledger X is $149. The Arculus wallet is only $100. And ties into your phone. And don't worry about it. If you upgrade phones, all you gotta do is re-put in your seed phrase, and it all pops in again. But shout out to Crypto Dream. First time and only time I got drained was with Trust Wallet. Yep, it's the same thing. I just don't like the Trust Wallet. I don't like the MetaMask. I don't like the wallets on the computer that are based off your browser, because it can be greatly affected. The Nano Ledgers, you have to download a program, put in your seed phrase. A little harder to hack that. They actually have to get access to the hardware itself to be able to hack into it remotely. So it's a little bit more secure. Arculus Wallet's great because you can also use your biometrics. There are some laptops by Lenovo that you can use biometrics, your face or your thumbprint, that you can link the Nano Ledger to as well, which I think is pretty cool. Gives you like a fourth layer of security to it. So, because it won't allow you to access it unless you are at the actual physical computer and using your biometrics, which I think is pretty cool. So, but just remember, if you're a big guy like me and you lose a lot of weight, that may change it. So just letting you know. I know Cody's probably finishing up here. We'll wait till him so we can get final thoughts. But definitely it was a good live. We had a lot of fun topics and coverage there. Really appreciate you guys joining in. Um, Overall, if I let me, I did not finish up what was in your portfolio as we talk all things portfolio, but we also like after my mortgage value on my properties is now a staggering $9.8 million. I have a total valuation, and this was the last valuation beginning of October of 21.8 million. Of that revenue, we're at 95% occupancy rate because we're renovating a lot of units, because I don't like cheap shit to rent out to people, which is why I always stay full, because I have quality appliances, none of that particle board countertops. I use granite and quartz countertops, and I make sure that everything, including actual tubs, I don't put that plastic cover over them. That's stupid. I put actual tubs in and stuff like that. So that way people feel like this is a home, even if they're renting. So I do spend a lot of money on that, which is why my mortgage is coming up. I think it's on 60% of my value. And I'm trying to pay that down. But if you really talk about at the end of it and everything, my net worth is right now, as calculated by my accountant, about 19 million. but most of that is in the valuations of my companies. So, and with that, I can't give you an evaluation of these because they don't have a true evaluation until they're sold. So all I can really give is an evaluation of what is the mortgage company. But also on that, out of those my four companies that I have, I always make sure I pay myself a salary. So my moving company, because I do a lot for them, for my moving company, 180,000. The furniture store, I only pay myself 50,000 out of. Real estate, I only pay myself 100,000, and construction, I only get paid 200,000 for being basically the financier and the bookkeeping of the company. But thank you guys. Definitely appreciate you guys joining in. I'm going to see if wait till Cody is there. Wait till Cody gets back to see how. Let me share that tab instead. But if you guys are interested in getting into real estate, it's not as hard as you look. You don't actually have to get a course. All you got to do is think about how you would, if you would if you would want to rent the property. So you have to take it from a consumer standpoint. So if you got kids, the best way to think about it um, is to think about if you are, if is the school close, is the home close to the school, is there is there fun events for families like parks, places to take your pets like your dog, or is there like shopping close by within 20 minutes, things like that. The main place where everybody works, is that like within like 30-minute drive, all those things there. But I guess Cody is taking a little longer, but that's okay. We're going to have to cut it here, as I do have to get going with my business, with my moving company, and my other stuff that I normally do on Sundays, as well as get all these videos out to you. But if you guys wondering, I am in my office here. As you can see here, all the desks and everything. I do have salespeople. This is my corporate office for my moving company. I do have salespeople, but they are working from home, as you don't really need to be here, but they come here to get their flyers and stuff that they do for their networking and stuff. Shout out to PGZ. He's still running circles in his shower. Yeah, I know sometimes you gotta take a warm shower, take a little longer shower to get your mind right. So, but we won't be live today, but we'll be live tomorrow morning. So we'll be back tomorrow morning for market morning news. But we're definitely glad to have you guys in here. Had a very productive live. Really appreciate you guys. As always, like and share. Likes and subscribes are free. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. And we'll see you guys on the next one. As always, do your own
Just
research.
finished with my shower.
There we go. But as always, do your own research and make sure you respect the process. Don't moonshot your entire life savings into hopium. But now that you're back, Cody, you got any final thoughts on the stream? Anything you want to
Pretty
quickly?
much what you just said, man. Don't aim for moonshots. You need to just aim for. If you're gonna invest in crypto, choose the less riskiest option. It seems like that's the most popular notion now. Is choosing the less riskiest assets. In bonds, in equities, and all that, you're gonna go for the less riskiest. Right now, it's good to stack your blue chips up. And when things become bullish again, and we have an idea of what alts are popping, what alts are in the narrative, you can then go on for moonshots. But during this time, I would recommend buying Bitcoin and ETH heavily if you're buying crypto. If you're buying stocks, DCA into things like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, things that are here. The magnificent seven.
Exactly. And Cody's spot on with that. Spot on with that. So you don't want it. You don't go for hopium. Go for logic and reasoning, and make sure you understand what you're investing in. But we will be back on tomorrow morning for market morning news. We will be on Monday evening for the stream, and market morning news is Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. We also will have our Wednesday night stream, and this Friday we will hopefully have our team up stream with Crypto Dream. So stay tuned for that. I don't know what topic we'll talk about, but we will definitely have one ready for you guys. And as always, Patreon only stream every Thursday. Every Thursday, Patreon only. So with that saying, guys, we're gonna chat. See you guys tomorrow morning. Watch the YouTube channel, subscribe to us, check out those videos. Everything, all the replays are on YouTube as well. And with that said, guys, I'm gonna check out of here. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy this Sunday and invest wisely. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning.